Been waiting for a love like this for so long. You complete my verse in my favorite song. The way you make me feel is so real. I'm glad I found you, girl. Found you, girl.
Welcome back to the Father's Coach podcast. We have an exciting guest. We have an international guest. We have a man who I believe not just only deserves a key to the city, I believe a key to the state. We have Mr. Fred Reed. He is a powerful husband. He is a powerful father, a songwriter, a producer, a vocalist. You just heard him. Oh my God. He is the founder of Refuge Center. We're sitting right here in this beautiful studio. This studio is called the Industry Level Studio. I'm telling you, I think I'm going to call this my new home. I'm telling you, this is so awesome right here. We're going to introduce him right now. Mr. Fred Reed, welcome.
Listen. Thank you so much, man. That was a wonderful introduction. You hear me? Thank you for having me on the Father's Coach, man. I really appreciate it, man.
Oh my God, this is so awesome. There's so many things that I want to share with you and also share with our audience. But definitely, some of your staff took me on a tour of this powerful community. This is actually an empire.
Oh,
this is an empire right here. Before we get into any questions, I just want you to talk about this empire right here. Please, just share a couple of things.
Wow, man. I just want to start off by just saying, I appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you so much. The number I did coming in, that was top 100, top 25 on Billboard charts. Fred Reed music featuring Raheem Devon. It's the wedding song. I call it the wedding song of the year. It's called Found You. So you need a good song for your wedding. Make sure you check that one out.
We need a good song for date night. Oh my God.
Date night, man. It works. It works.
God. Speaking of date night, I've been married this year. I've been married for 28 years. How long have you been married?
Going on 27 years.
Oh my God. A man who finds a wife.
Finds a good thing, right?
A good thing and obtains favor. Let's talk about your favor.
Oh man, I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm blessed and highly favored, man. Like you said, thank you for the great introduction about Reed's and, Reed's got started back in 2012, nonprofit. So we're just in a portion of that. This is our nonprofit side of things.
Okay.
501. I'm the co-founder. I can't take that on my own. My wife is the other co-founder, and Reed's Refuge got started in 2012, a national award-winning organization. In 2017, we won a local in Delaware and also the National Jefferson Award, which was awesome. Shaquille O'Neal won it in 2018. We won it in 2017. Very prestigious award, and we got started here back in 2012 wanting to save the youth. And so we use music as a component, me having a musical background. We use music as a drawing, because we was looking at all the things that were going on, the gun violence, the drug activity, the teen pregnancy. So we came up with a compilation of songs and things to give the youth a voice, from a youth perspective on how they felt about, not being able to go to the park without bullets flying, not being able to go to the store, losing friends, losing fathers, losing uncles, cousins. And, we begin to give them a voice, through music, which I thought that, a lot of the inspiration, was coming from music. Music is a very powerful tool.
It is.
And in the wrong hands, it can work against, our communities, with the guns, drugs, and the violence. So we changed, used the same hard beats, same musical instruments, but we changed the lyrical contents, what made it powerful. And that was our start with Reed's Refuge and how we began to draw. And kids were coming from all over, man. We done serviced thousands of youth for over the years since we've been open in 2012. And, still seeing some of those kids come back as men now and talk about, how, Reed's have impacted, their lives. So, yeah.
So I want to back up real quick. So
Sure.
You were saying music So you're teaching the youth here about music?
Yes.
They're able to like write songs or...
Oh yeah,
So talk about that, please.
So pretty much every facet of music. Like I said, the lyrical content is very important, but we believe in entrepreneurship, in building, giving them something that can sustain them later, not just getting on the stage and rapping or singing or poetry, but listen, you can get paid for this. Yes. So teach them how to copyright songs, teach them how well expounded that music is, and not just rapping, singing, and poetry, but it's in commercials, car commercials,
the business
toothpaste commercials, jingles, so many different ways. And guess what it takes to do to use music? You have to be able to do beats. You have to use math. You have to use science. So those are the things, that we begin to see the importance of how education and music was working hand in hand.
Wow. So you said math, right? So I was thinking about STEM. Sciences, technology, engineering, and math. I have to do it with my finger.
Right. That's okay, man.
So science, technology, engineering, and math. Now you do that here?
Sure, we do it here, but we do STEM, but we call it STREAM.
STREAM?
Yeah.
Talk about that, please.
Yeah, we call it because without reading and arts, you can't do the other. So you got science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. You need the reading and the arts. I mean, we come from a culture.
I never heard that before.
We come from a culture that we love music. We love beats. Music has influenced the world. So, you ever been feeling a certain way? You put on, I'm so happy, or you put certain lyrical songs, and it makes you feel that. So just think about that, right? When it's used in a negative way, and it's talking about shoot this, take this pill, kill this, the derogatory part. So, that's infested in our youth minds, during the day, every day. So, some of their idols are people that are promoting that type of music.
You are starting something right now inside of me right now. The Father's Coach podcast and the Father's Coach period. My purpose is to reform the image of fatherhood in our culture.
Wow, amazing.
What you're doing is you're reforming the image of youth through music. So you're changing the trajectory. You're changing the way they think, about music. You said content twice, talking about changing the lyrics, changing the content, this, that, and the other. Talk about love, sing about love, sing about whatever it's doing is not killing them, not killing somebody else, not hurting yourself, not hurting others. And also, you said also on the business side, you're teaching them how to get paid using music. My God, so they won't get pimped out.
Come on, man.
So they won't get pimped out by these, record industry guys.
That's right.
Oh, my God. And I'm just looking right here, look at the drums, looking all this equipment here.
Oh yeah,
it's beautiful in the studio. I'm telling you, I'm going to make this my home. I'm going to come here.
Come on, man, we got enough room for you, man.
Oh my God, this is awesome. But I think this is very purposeful. And when I see him just sitting in these chairs and just kind of just here, I just see that you're in your purpose. You're living in your purpose. And the funny thing is, your purpose is actually tied to all the kids. Not only that, but also the staff here. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the staff that you might have here.
Oh, for sure.
How long they've been with you and all that kind of stuff.
Wow, man. Yeah, listen, I got some staff members here that have been here since day one, since my wife's vision, in 2005, opening up a child care center.
That's 20 years ago.
20 years ago, we've been in this location. And I think, the staff, that we have here are top notch. Look where we're sitting at now. Look at the quality of what, the microphones, having the right technicians, lighting, and then you got people that does like graphic designs, engineers, cooking without a stove. I
saw that in the room over there.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, without the staff and without a team, it's impossible. So staffing is very, very important. I'm very, I'm just adamant about, serving the youth, serving the community. That's such a passion for mine. And, that's something that I do every single day.
Wow. So you do that every single day. That's something else you do every single day. You have a wife.
Yes.
You have children.
Yes.
How many kids do you have?
I have 9 children.
Ooh,
5 boys and 4 girls.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
By wifey.
By wifey.
By wifey, yes.
One woman. Can you say that again to the camera, please?
Yes. By wifey.
Wow, that's amazing. Can you name your children?
Sure I can. The first one is Ezekiel, my namesake, Frederick, right, Junior, okay? And then it goes to Nashiria, my daughter.
Wow.
Okay, then it goes to Michael, Anila, Destiny, Israel, Asher, and Kimura.
That's amazing. Wow. So you gave birth to you and your wife gave birth to 9 beautiful humans.
Yes.
So that speaks of legacy, but also you're their father, but you're also a father in the community. You're a father in this city.
Yes.
And that's expanding. We talked about this earlier, and that's even expanding. I just see a grace on you, man.
Wow,
to
man.
father. On this podcast, this is the Father's Coach podcast, right? We forming the image of fatherhood, but you just so tie in so much with the vision that we have that you're boots on the ground, and you have been established here. You have been established here, and you're doing good works, man.
Yes, man. I appreciate it.
Oh my, it's amazing. The vision. I saw that wall out there that you had all the music people.
Yes.
All the music artists and singers and everything.
Yeah. And the purpose of having all the music artists, because some of them were just like some of these kids that come in here.
Yeah.
And then, and didn't have an opportunity. Some of them didn't. Some had to fight through adversity, fight through racism, fight through struggles, fight through peer pressure, and you see what they have done.
Yeah.
Some monumental people that's on the wall, even some of them that I look up to. So, even as a man and as an artist myself.
So there's some great people on the wall there. Some great people.
Yes.
I'm also interviewing a great person like yourself.
I mean, I really appreciate it.
And, and I know this for sure, not just interviewing people, just by living life this last, I'll be 56 next week or so. So I understand, living this, being alive, you get to see great people, but you also had great challenges.
Oh, for sure.
Also, and I want to share this too. A lot of times that we have, when you see great people and they accomplish great things, sometimes the challenges could have taken some of us out.
Oof.
And it didn't.
For sure.
And it didn't. Would you mind sharing with the audience probably some challenges you had growing up?
Oh, growing up, I pretty much grew up. I'm the youngest of 9.
The youngest of 9.
I grew up, over in.
Youngest of 9, and you had 9.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, that's me and my mom. We talk about all the time. Said, Mother, we tied up from here on out. I ain't trying to break the tie.
I hear you.
But some of the struggles. It's simply growing up in a single parent home during that time. And a lot of times, when you have mothers, sometimes they don't say real great things about your father. So sometimes it kind of can harden you a little bit. You're looking for him.
Against him.
Against your father. Sometimes it happened, but, through grace, through mercy, I would see my dad, in and out, but he became like one of my greatest friends that I ever had.
At what point did he become a friend, from when you transitioned or pivoted from just your father to a friend?
He became that probably just when he started showing me his trades when I was about 17 or 18 years old.
You're still young, that's good.
Started working and, doing, he put in like concrete sidewalks and pools for some major people around. So he's a crafty man, a general contractor, and just started instilling, those professions and those gifts inside of me. And it just brought us close together. And I realized that, I thought that I missed out on a lot of things growing up, but I found that, this guy right here is an amazing man. Wow. So being able to forgive and then to give a person a chance to understand. A lot of times, you hear so much negativity, you don't even want to hear anything, but he showed me. It wasn't just that he talked to me about it.
Okay.
He showed me, how much he loved me, how much he cared about me. That, like I said, when I lost him in 2014, man, was a major loss for me. Still impacted. In 2014, 25, and like it just happened, a few weeks ago. And that was just a great guy to me.
Wow. If you don't mind me asking, what were some of the things that you had to forgive him for?
Just for not being there, not being there in my younger days.
Not being present,
athletic, struggling in school, mom had her struggles. Like I said, I was the youngest of 9. So it was a lot of sharing, a lot of things going on, in that single family home that just, she needed that help, during that time, So
So I got a question now.
Sure.
So how did that impact you now? Him not being present in your life. How did negative or positive? How does that affect you now?
Well, I think it impacted me in a positive way, honestly, because, I've been there from day one. My oldest is 31 years old.
Wow.
And my youngest two are 16 and 17, maybe 17, 18. So, I got some adults, and it impacted me great where, I shared just, my entire life with my kids, even now that they're grown and they're having kids now. I have 16 grandchildren.
I think I met one of your sons in the gym.
Yeah, that was Michael.
On this facility.
Yeah.
In your facility.
Yeah.
This is amazing facility. This is an amazing facility. Oh my God. You know what? This is an amazing gym. GEM, gym. Gym, like a gym on our. This is an amazing gym in the city.
Wow.
I can't believe that I'm just hearing about. I mean, I heard about how great things you were doing, from hearsay, but just seeing this facility.
Right.
And I'm not going to name the name of the company that rents from you on the other side.
Right.
This children hospital type of thing.
Yes.
That's amazing. I mean,
wow.
My hat's off to you.
Wow.
My hat's off to you.
I appreciate it, and I'm grateful, for it. I didn't see it, but I believe, that God had it for us,
Yes.
through the trials. Like you said, sometimes you got to go through things. Yeah. You go through some trials and tribulations, man. I was homeless with 6 children in 2002.
You was homeless with 6 children.
Homeless with 6 children.
You and your wife.
Me and my wife was
had
homeless.
6 children and y'all were homeless.
During that time.
What year?
2002.
2002.
2002, and guess where we end up moving back to Riverside, where I was raised at. Very tough time. Very tough time. I didn't know it was going to be as short of a stay, but it was 11 months.
11 months.
But my kids they were younger, but they got a chance to kind of see how Daddy grew up.
And now they get to see Daddy now. Look what Daddy did. Look what God did through Daddy.
That's right.
Purpose. Oh my God. And your purpose is tied to so many different people. I tell you what, your purpose is even tied to me interviewing here.
Right.
It's purposeful.
Right.
We get to share, you get to share some of your stories, But one thing I want to talk about, because this is a fatherhood, show, but, do you have any male influences, positive or negative, that you would like to share? And here's a part 2 of the question. If they're alive, could you give them a shout out?
Wow. I mean, I do. I definitely would have to give Apostle John T. Graham, the apostle at Temple United Church. I mean, taught me a lot as a man. Even I would say that helped in my fatherhood, and and teaching me, the way a man should be. I definitely gotta shout him out for that. And just
shout out.
Yeah.
You shout out, sir.
Yes, sir. Just being around some great people. I have some great friends. Like a brother to me. Apostle A.J. Harden, another one.
I know that guy. He had a rap name back in the day. Skis.
There he is.
Holy Hip Hop. Was it Holy Hip Hop? What did they call it Holy Hip Hop, or just?
Yeah, they called it that.
I don't know what they called it.
Yeah.
I know that
Spitting
man.
that fire.
He was spitting that fire. Him and King Size.
King Size. Shout out to King too. That's right.
And his mother, Mom Kelley.
Mom Kelley. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Reason why I know that I was introduced to them. I was doing my first seminar and workshop in 2003. It wasn't Life by Design Culture Firm, but it was Believers in Business, B&B Group.
Okay.
And I had to get some musical acts, but these guys came and wrecked it.
Wow.
Wrecked it. So that's when I met him, and he's my friend ever since.
Yeah, that's right.
Good brother. And he's with you.
That's right, man.
Oh my, it's a small world.
It is.
It's amazing. But I want to stick to more about purpose too. So there's so many facets to this business here. I know you said the nonprofit and the kids. Is there a daycare as well still here?
Yes, it still is here.
So it's a daycare?
Yeah, Read to Learn Academy is here. That's the name of one of our child care facilities at this location that we're in now.
Mm. Okay, so then what ages?
That starts as early as 6 weeks.
6 weeks. So who you going to have behind them drums tomorrow?
Oh, man, we got a drum class here, so...
Another room?
We got them. We got it. Next, we're doing a video shoot tomorrow for one of our videos that we got coming out called I'm Different. So we got some work to do tomorrow.
Wow, that's amazing. You're doing so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't know if I mentioned though, but I do want to give a shout out to my brother D Reed. That's my twin. That's my twin, man. That's my twin. You know,
D Reed.
So proud of D. You know, D grew up, you know, in the trenches just like I did. You know, and to see what he's doing now, you know, the businessman, husband, family man. So I definitely tip my hat, man. I love my brother to life, man. So definitely
Top
want to give him a
shelf.
shot. He changed his name all the time. So
Top shelf.
D Reed, D Riddy, and Top Shelf. And
Stay away from that D Riddy. Anything itty, get away from it right now.
Anything with the Riddy in it. We joke about that too.
We can go there. I ain't gonna go there. We can
Yeah,
go there.
man. I'm gonna leave him alone. He in God's hands.
D Reed is good, but all the other
Yeah, man.
he is.
We're gonna stick to Top Shelf then.
It is what it is.
Mindset Go. Shout out, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
Mindset
trying
Go.
to remember all your names, man.
Oh, that's some good stuff. He's a good brother.
Yeah.
He's a good brother. Actually, he was talking about you when I had him on last year.
Oh, wow.
Last year, I had
Nice.
him on in last February. I had him on. We had two. We had two back to back.
Oh,
it was
wow.
so good. The first one, we had a second one. We had a follow up. It was good to talk about the Africa trip. Type
Oh,
of thing.
nice. Yeah.
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 But one thing that I just see, every few times I have guests, and I just be seeing and feeling things and quirking, kind of spiritual
Right.
things. But I just see you expanding, outside of here.
Well,
Outside of here, and I'm just saying is, your yes will just make room for you.
come on, man.
Your yes. Just say yes, as much as you can. You and your wife come into agreement. Just say yes as much as you can. And sometimes say yes and then ask how later.
Right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Because your life is tied to a lot of people's purposes.
Wow.
Because let's say this. The kids don't have fathers. Say the kids don't have fathers, but they come here. They got a father.
Yes, they do.
They have a father.
That's right.
You.
Wow.
You. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I just see that. Wow. So I want to throw some curveballs in there a little
Sure,
bit.
man.
Throw some curveballs in there. So you have 9 kids.
Uh-huh.
9 kids. I'm pretty sure every day wasn't rosy.
No.
It wasn't a walk in the park.
Mm-mm.
Are there any challenges that you feel comfortable with sharing with the audience?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I know I'm a girl dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm watching her. I'm watching her. I know she gets slick talk sometimes when I'm watching
Right.
her. I'm like, all right,
Oh, right.
kind of thing. So, and then you got 4 girls,
Yep.
4 girls and 5 boys. So, is any either your daughters or your sons that you can share anything that you feel comfortable sharing?
yeah,
A
for
challenge.
sure.
Has to be a challenge.
Has to be a challenge for sure, man. I mean, if you really think about it, if you, I don't know how many children you got, just one. So I mean, it was a challenge,
That was a miracle. She's a miracle baby.
Wow.
So that's another story.
Yeah. It was a challenge, just bringing them up, same household, you know what I mean, and just being able to provide for all of them. Wow. That was a super challenge.
Yeah.
And then we were able to move them, to the suburbs, but they're still
Suburbs.
But-
I like that.
but they still
Sound.
but they're still with challenges.
Yes.
It seemed like sometimes trouble will find you, so I had my challenges with some of my sons and, never more so like disrespectful to me or anything of that nature, but more so wanting to be into the crowd, want to be with the end thing. I had 2 of them that just were cool and they wanted to hang, when they hang. I mean, where I came from all that type of, that type of lifestyle. And I didn't want them to experience it, but some of them did. And fortunately enough, they made it out of it. So
Wow, that's funny.
definitely been a blessing.
So I'm from North Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
From North Jersey. So where my parents lived it's about 20 minutes from Manhattan, right? 20 minutes from Manhattan. So what happened was I was getting my hair cut in Brooklyn, right? And that was my barber. So I left there. My father was like, so where you going? I said, I'm about to go to Brooklyn to the barber shop. He said, we took you away from that. We raised you in a place trying to keep you covered, from the element, and you run into the element.
Right.
And I was like, I'm just going to the barbershop. But it wasn't just a barbershop.
Right.
He was talking about the whole environment, the whole atmosphere. Yeah, the barbershop may be cool, but everything around here.
You learn a lot in the barbershop.
And so the parents, right? So the
Right.
parents,
Right.
the parents parents' goal is to keep the element away from the children. We want to raise you. We give you our best. It's the best neighborhood that we can afford and we could obtain to.
Right.
And then now you're running over there in the hood to go get a haircut. Why can't there ain't no barbershops over here? That kind of thing. And so I know as fathers, we kind of put that protection and goal down. I'm pretty sure you've experienced that living in the suburbs.
Plenty. Even before that, I recall living on the west side of Wilmington. And we were real respected people in the area, even though I wasn't. It was where my wife was from, but I recall it was a lot of drug activity in front of the house all the time. And I recall coming in from work, one night, and I'm going in, and I'm hearing all these gunshots. I mean, like machine guns, shooting, and I'm throwing my kids on the floor. We throwing on the floor, we laying all on the floor, and of course it clears, and we go outside the next morning to get ready for work, and our little minivan is sitting out front, and fluid just running all out of it. Bullet holes all in the van. Thank God we wasn't in it, but God had us covered. So much that one of the boys, came and showed up when I was getting ready to leave out for work, and he just said, I don't know which one hit it, but I know I was out here, and I'm hurt that your vehicle, man. I know all y'all do is go to work, and y'all, he said, but here's what I got to repair, whatever needs to be fixed on the van.
Wow.
And that's a story that kind of sticks in my mind.
It's a testament for how you walk in character as a man in the community with your family.
Exactly. And when he seen that, he said I couldn't just walk past and see that. He said I couldn't do it. And he came and put money in our hands. So it's tons of stories like that like you said, too much is given, much is required.
Much is given, much is required.
Wow. Plenty of those stories. Just plenty of those that that made and shaped the man I am today. And guess what? I'm grateful for now that I see why.
Wow. So in order to be a father, you have to be a man. I believe a man is a father. Right?
For sure.
So what about some of the challenges you may have had in manhood, in whatever stage you have in manhood?
Well, I can talk about, I think in business, in manhood, I can talk about, that, the challenges of being a minority owner. I think there is some major challenges. Sometimes you get looked over if you ain't in the in crowd. And
the spotlight will be on you that probably won't be on the other counterparts.
Oh, for sure.
Like you have to cross every T and dot every I.
For sure.
But then that's interesting. That's interesting.
And it is because you really one of the things of being an owner is you have to do the work. I can't look to nobody else. You own it. So guess what? Yeah. Rain, sleet, or snow, you got to show up. Things go good, you got to show up. Things go bad, you got to show up.
You got to show up. Right.
So I can't
take credit. Do you take credit for when things go good?
I normally don't get the credit.
But when things go bad?
I definitely get it.
You get the phone calls.
I just got to be real about it.
You get the text.
Yeah.
All that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one of the greatest things that I can say, in being an owner was God putting us in the position to be able to own your facility. That was major. That was like to me a miracle because people that come from the projects don't buy no 40,000 square foot building in the middle of the city. That doesn't happen. So it was destined for us.
Something about that, right? Ownership. So when I was looking for the building. I haven't been in this building before, right? So when I was coming to the building, I was looking for the numbers, and I went into the other parking lot, right? Went to the other parking lot. I said, well, this can't be his because I see the school bus up there, up high.
Right.
And I was like, well, how do I get up there? So I asked the lady, I'm looking for, let me get it right. I'm looking for Refuge Center.
Right.
She said, just keep going around. It's all of this. She said, it's all of this. She said, but it's the red doors. She said, it's the red.
Wow.
Follow the red. So I went up and I went to this parking lot and I'm like, wow. And so when I did the tour, I toured the whole building.
Wow.
I toured the whole building, not knowing that I probably could have went in that on that side of the building, but it's just, that's amazing.
So you was here.
Right. So you own this whole thing.
Yes.
So did you start owning business property before you owned your personal property?
No.
So what was that transition like?
So the transition, it's like on steroids, a bigger, like this bigger everything. Like when you're a home, anybody that purchased a home before, they understand the paperwork, the process. Yeah. This one was different. The building, I just think that we bought it in 2020 during COVID.
Right. That's when most millionaires were being made during COVID.
So during COVID, yeah. And my wife always tells this story. Before we even owned this building, we were just in the child care facility part. But I had the keys to everything. They just, the owners trusted us. They was like mentors to us. Some Jewish guys. They were, very known people here in the city of Wilmington. And I had the keys, and I would come up here in the building. It didn't look nothing like this. And one day I sat here, and I had a Zoll in the car. So I came in the building. I believe the guy gave me a vision. This is before music, before Refuge, before any of this. I started cutting holes in the wall. That hole, the hole that's in the wall, the window behind you, that was the first thing that I cut out. What's behind you? So I cut the wall out, and I was telling my buddy there, AJ, and all the other employees, keep my wife downstairs. Don't let her come in this building because she's going to have a fit if she see what I'm doing. And I started cutting in holes. I had a vision, and I began to see what this was, and I believe that God, this was going to be ours. I believe this was going to be our facility. And when she seen it, she said, "No, you didn't. You cut a hole in these people's wall." So, after
that's a wife for you.
I don't believe you did it. And weeks went by, and next thing you know, it was carpets in there, and it was control systems in there. And next thing you know, I started putting equipment in there, and the owner came, and he was just like, "Fred, what is this?" So I told him, I had a vision of, using music as a tool to fight violence and some of the things that were going on in the community, teen pregnancy. And when he looked at it, he just said, "Wow." So I'm thinking he's mad. He said, "I love it. It's just beautiful."
Wow.
He said,
that was faith in action, man.
Faith in action. And what he did was, he said, "The only thing you need is one thing." He said, "You need to have a sprinkler system over top of the studio booth. Let me make sure the sprinkler system is over there." And he went and done it. And it was, before you know it, I done started moving stuff in, and like it was already ours. 2020, man, we purchased.
When I walked in this part of the studio today, you was back there with an artist.
Yes. Yes, that's one of my.
Back there mixing or making music, laying vocals or something, and I was trying to get your attention, but I didn't want to mess up what you had going on. And I'm like, and that's the window right there that you cut out.
That's it.
You got to name that window something, that part of the wall. You got to put a plaque up there or something. That's amazing.
It need to be something there, right?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that's how I started.
A man of vision.
Yes.
Man of vision. So, a man of vision. So, tell me some of the core values that you may have that maybe some people can, some people in the FCC family, you can look at your camera over there.
Sure.
But some core values that you have, some guiding principles that you may have that can share with other people who may not have a vision for their lives.
Wow. Well, I mean, what I would say, I mean, you have to have a vision. You have to have a vision, and you got to make it plain. And I think the biggest key to it is not to detour from the vision. And if you don't have anything, then that comes time with your prayer life. You talk to God. Ask him to stir up the gift that's inside of you. The mission, the vision, and what do you have? Because everybody's vision is different. Everybody, nobody has the same life or the same gifts.
Right.
But, I think that's important, bro. I think that, not detouring from the vision.
Not detour. That's an awesome core value, and thank you for sharing that with the people. But one thing that I wanted to just highlight is that you told Brother AJ, "Don't tell my wife. Keep her away from here." What I did. So you was protecting the vision until it was, cultivating. So we have to, I believe that we have to cultivate our visions. We have to even protect it and protect our hearts too.
Oh, for sure.
You know, because sometimes, you know, if I have a vision, I know a lot of times I'm in a lab and I'm writing books, whatever. I'm in a lab or I'm envisioning something like that. I have the door closed because I don't want to be interrupted.
Right.
And plus, you don't want some of the naysayers to come in.
Right.
Because sometimes that's the most vulnerable time that we have.
For sure.
When you envision, when you're in the lab, when you're writing, when I'm in my writing, I don't want anybody else to come and disturb that or say, why don't you change that? Why don't you do that? You just change the whole vision.
For sure.
Until I want to make sure it has legs first before I can start, you know, sharing with
the
other
distractions.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, and you gotta and that's really key too, man. The foundation.
Yeah.
You know, if you're the visionary, you know, you have to be able to explain that to others. But then you got to explain it to people that will be willing to receive it.
Yeah. Because even if you don't have all the language, you may not have all the language. You may not have all the words for it. There's sometimes I'm just talking. Yeah. There's some things that sometimes that I'm talking and I'm sharing with people, and it's like I don't have all the language. I see it. I have the vision.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I have all the vision. I see it, but I don't have words for it yet because sometimes it may not be here on the earth yet.
Right.
It may not be in the earth yet. That's what I'm here for. I'm positioned for it. So maybe 3 o'clock one morning, it'll just pop up.
It happens like
that's
that.
That's the word. That's it. That's it. That's what I put. And that's why we got to put stuff in our phones, computers, or whatever, even if it's unfinished work. I have some unfinished works. Right. I have some unfinished writing.
We all do.
And so the thing that's unfinished, what I've been challenged by God to go ahead and publish more. I'm like, I don't want to be like Prince, Michael Jackson, Tupac, or whatever, and have all these recordings, have all this stuff. And then after I die, people are like, oh, he had this. No, I'm putting some stuff out.
That's right.
I'm going to put some stuff out. Like this one of my books here, Sonship, Fathering, and the Journey of Becoming, right?
Wow.
So I wrote this book with my father. We co-authored this together.
Wow.
Right? And actually him and my mother, they just got back from North Carolina up to Jersey. They just made it to Jersey about 2 hours ago. I came back yesterday. They came back today. But him and I wrote this book together. So this is 121 years worth of wisdom, insight, and core values.
Wow.
Core values, you know, that's my foundation. And I know we was talking about foundation. I think fathers are foundation, but first a man is amazing. Men are amazing. Our shoulders, we get to carry, our legs are strong. Our shoulders can hold so much stuff. Our arms can hold so much stuff, right? And then our legs, we get to walk people with us. I'm carrying my wife. I'm carrying my daughter. Who knows how many generations that's gonna be birthed through her in life, you know? So I get to carry all of that, and you get to carry all of that too.
That's right.
So share something about, you know, a foundation truth that you know and that you live by. Something foundational that you probably didn't share with your kids yet, that we're just going to redefine and define.
Oh no, I shared it. I shared it when they were young. You know, foundation, the truth, man, is really building, you know, on faith, man, in God. Mm-hmm. You know, without, you know, that firm foundation. Yeah. You know, what is more greater than that? You know, what is more greater than that? And then, you know, one of my greatest tools that, you know, that even when I'm done doing all this, but I'm still living, that I want to be able to pass on legacy, right? Pass that baton, but I want to be able to see it. Man. I want nobody to have to snatch it out of my coffin or snatch it from me. You know, you got a lot of men, you know, that die with so much information, so much greatness, and they die with it without ever, you know, passing it on. I'm passing it on because it's no good to me then. So I want to pass it on, you know, the legacy, and then I want to see it work. Because a lot of times, you know, when young people follow and when young people see us, you know, sometimes it's hard for us to say, you don't know what you're doing, you don't do it this way, because we condition as men. And as older men, we're conditioned. But sometimes that younger person could bring such a newness and a freshness to it, you know, and they'll do something like, wow, I never thought to do it this way. I never thought to do it, but see, because they're with their young time. Sometimes I'm still thinking in, you know, years ago. Yeah, you
think it's the 70s, 80s.
But it's a new day.
But look at the foundation that you have. Yeah. You have the foundation that that you introduced. You allow me to enter your world today, right? And so I'm looking at this foundation. It's an amazing foundation. It's generational. Everything that I see here is generation. Everything, all the rooms that I walk through, the buildings that I walk through is amazing. It's generational, right? But look, your children get to walk. They get to build on top of the foundation.
That's
right. The foundation they get to build. They get to build on this. What foundation you have provided already, and not just for your 9 children.
For their children's children.
For their children, but how about for the 300 or 400 kids that you're impacting already in this city?
That's right.
No, I'm gonna give you the key to this. I'm gonna talk to the mayor. Who's the mayor of this city?
Who's the mayor name this time? What's the mayor name this time?
I mean, we got to get you the key to the city and the key to this state, because you're doing some amazing things. So you changed the word STEM
right
to stream.
Yeah, we gotta give a shout out to Mayor John Carney. Yes. That's the new mayor. We need to go talk to him, man.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's the former governor.
Yeah.
So now he's the mayor.
So it's not just for accolades, and we know that we so past that, but just the work that you're doing. You're doing so much work. I mean, even this, the vision that you have. See, I'm gonna back up. So, me mentoring in the schools, right, and all that kind of stuff, right. There was times that I have shared with other men that were mentoring in the schools. So I was watching how they mentored their, the little kids, and I was like, give them something. Give them what you have. Pour into them what you have. So for an example, there may be a guy who, let's say he's a Toastmaster, right? Speak, or he may be a plumber or something like that. Well, why don't you just share with them just some basic skills on plumbing, or basic skills on how to speak, that type of thing.
Sure.
So what I do, I was talking, even last year, this year as well, I was telling the students, I've written 4 books, and I got 2 more that's in progress of being written. I'm teaching them how to write.
Oh, wow.
I'm sharing with them how to write. But not getting books yet, but just planting that seed with them, giving them a foundation like, yo, you could do this. If I could do it, you could do it.
Yeah, and giving them a way to express themselves. In a positive way.
Positive way. And it could be a stream of income. So and my, that was my second book, actually. My first book that I wrote was a manual. It's a leadership manual, right? So it's a leadership manual, and I wrote it 2015. Yeah, I wrote it 2014. And the funny thing is, I wrote it, who buys our stuff, first buy your music, and people first buy your books when you first started authoring. It's a family, right?
Right.
It's a family. So after I bought it, whatever, I shelved it and everything. Then, a couple of years later, an organization called me and said, hey, we're looking for this type of curriculum. Do you think you have something? We heard about you. Your name came up when you wasn't in the room.
Oh, wow.
So I sold them 100 books.
Nice.
For something that I wrote years, prior.
Wow.
So that's how your gifts will make room for you.
Yes, they will.
And look what you're doing here.
Yes, they will.
All this is amazing. Man. That's why I'm like, I may try to get a room in this place just to do some stuff.
Come on, man.
That type of thing. But the visions that we're given, and you're doing this is so awesome. I mean, it's just bubbling up inside of me, because I see something when I come in here.
Wow.
I feel like it's like an open heaven. Yeah.
Wow.
To kids.
Wow.
Why wouldn't God protect this place?
He does.
Why wouldn't he?
That's right.
Why wouldn't you grow? Why wouldn't you expand? Why wouldn't he?
I like that.
Because you're already positioned. You said yes.
Wow.
Anyway, enough of me talking like this.
Wow.
I'm interviewing you.
Oh, no, man.
I'm interviewing you.
I like all the golden nuggets.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is some good stuff, because, the scripture, train up a child the way they should go. When they get old, they will not depart.
Right.
Well, what they're not going to depart from is what you have instilled in them, and the visions and the dreams, and cooking without using the stove.
That's right.
I saw that room. I saw
that's right, man. There. Culinary arts, man. That is fine.
And then the music, you got the drum, you got all this. And then tomorrow, you're going to do the video, right?
Yes.
The videos.
Yes. Yeah. We shoot the video tomorrow, and it's going to be debut at Penn Cinema down at the Riverfront sometime in June, later in June. So I'll make sure you get an invite. When we saw it as well.
Please,
sure.
please. So, is there anything that you like to share? I know I can just run a whole bunch of questions, but I just want to keep it kind of organic. Anything that you want to share with the audience? Something from your heart. You can speak to Wilmington. You can speak to Delaware. You can speak to North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
You can speak to California. You can speak to, because we're national. We're actually international. Right. But you know, I want you to speak to them right now.
Well, since you put it that way, then I'm going to speak to whoever's listening.
Yes.
But the one thing that I really, really love about, the podcast, The Father's Coach, Father's Day is right around the corner.
Yes.
And one of the things I want to say, to the females as well as the male, I encourage you to get to know your father.
Ooh.
I encourage you to get to know your father.
Yes.
Give him a chance. You know what I mean? Sometimes, we beat up on, men are so beat up on in our community. So much. Yes. So much responsibilities every time we walk out the door. All cultures don't have to deal with what we deal with. We don't have to worry about the police officers. We don't have to worry about driving a certain way or, just being profiled.
Right.
A lot of cultures don't have to deal with the things that we have to deal with. The drama of just trying to make it, to make it out here in this world, So, give your father a chance.
And give us a break.
Give us a break, And sometimes, if we can't, we can't do it all. We try our best though, but we need to be held up as well. Sometimes it's okay to give them a little hug, say a prayer for them.
Yeah.
Encourage them. Even the greatest needs to be encouraged sometimes.
Yeah.
Even the best.
And like you said, forgive, right? We have to forgive.
Yeah, man.
How about this? This is a scripture that I've been dwelling on all weekend personally. When I read, people read the Bible and stuff, read scriptures. I kind of try to apply it in different areas of my life. I read the scripture and I try to live it. I use it to challenge my day. So this thing right here is since like Sunday morning earlier, it was love covers a multitude of sins, right?
Yes.
And so I just took the sin out, right, and just said love covers a multitude. So of anxiety, of disappointments. Wow. So if people have disappointed me, their fathers, mothers, siblings, spouse, I love my wife so much that I can overlook her getting on my nerves yesterday.
Right.
I shouldn't have to address everything that gets under my skin. Right. I'm a man.
Right.
I'm a man. I should be able to take something, right? Right. So, but love covers. So what, this one last question I'm going to ask you, what kept you married? What's keeping your marriage together?
Wow, man, God. I would have to say, without him, it ain't too much of anything.
Without God, I'd be single.
There you go.
Without God,
that's an easy one.
Yeah.
But without God, definitely without him.
Man, you know what? I thank you for your time. I thank you for allowing me to enter into your world, enter into your vision, enter into your just all this. What is this called? The industry level.
Industry level studios is where you at now.
Industry level studio. I thank you for this time, and thank you for really getting in touch with you and just learning more about you, and also sharing with the FCC community. FCC is the Father's Coach community, and I just want the world to you put it this way. I want the world to know you, and how can they reach out to you?
Well, I'm easy to find. Fred Reed Music online. Yeah. If you're interested into music, any of the music things that I got going on.
Yes.
I'm playing.
That's with the youth and adults.
So with the youth and adults, with the youth will be Refuge centers.
Okay.
So I can be reached social media, websites, reachrefugecenter.org, and even want to donate, to donate.
Boom. Yes.
Please check us out. We're a national award-winning organization. Listen, check us out. You want to come up and volunteer if you're in the area, we welcome you. It's all, it takes a community. It takes a community. So we need all the help that we can get. So.
Wow. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you comment. Make sure you reach out to Fred Reed. And again, this is Kevin L. Kelley, the Father's Coach. Make sure you subscribe, comment, subscribe. I need more subscribers. Come on, guys.
Yes, do it for
subscribe. And thank you for your time. Shalom.
Thank you.